welcome to Gunners Rust Podcast, where we are positively Patreon, and that we are. Positive is a stretch, Patreon is not, so thank you for joining our Patreon. But I kind of had to jump on here, and I think I'm going to have to just, for the mental health of all Arsenal fans out there who listen to Gunners Rust, I think this one's also going to go up on our regular feed, because I feel like whether you pay the extra or not, I feel like you need this in your ears today, because we need to break down yesterday's draw, which felt like a defeat to Wolves. And I think there's a multitude of ways of looking at it. And I think I would say 99% of Arsenal fans watched that game, and even at 2-0 went, I don't like this. This isn't right. Maybe we you could feel maybe that we would end up drawing it. I don't even know if we did, but we just felt like even if we were to win it, I think we'd be having a lot of conversation today of like, that can't carry on that way. And so we'll get into that and kind of break down the game and why that made us feel that way. And then the other half is, why does it hurt so much today? Is not just, we're 5 points at the top of the league. There's a game in hand. We have to go to the Etihad. So technically it's in our hands to win the league. It's also in Man City's hands because we have to play each other. So there is a nervous energy, because I think what we wanted to do was we wanted to be able to kind of see out the league and just win it comfortably, which I don't think was ever going to be the way. But I think maybe last night might have been the eye-opening moment for the players, because I think the players are playing more like that than the fans feel that way. But I think the real reason it hurts is everything people said about us in the last 3-4 years. I think we could come, that year, this is the fourth year we're going to probably come second, let's say. The first year, no one expected it. We didn't expect it. We were 8th the year before. We were expected to, if we could try and challenge for top 4, but probably not with the way everyone else invested. And all of a sudden we were playing this really fun football. It was like, reminded everyone how much we loved football, how much we loved Arsenal. And for all of a sudden we got ourselves on top by Christmas, and then we started to extend that lead, and then all of a sudden we started to drop games. We lost Saliba, we had no depth at that point, we had Holding and all sorts of players playing a lot of games, and we started to drop points near the end of the season. And I think everyone called us bottlers, and we all knew, like, hey, everyone, you expected us to come 7th this year, so the fact we're even in our race was fun for an Arsenal fan, and we didn't expect it. And we just thought, well, we never truly thought we were going to win it, but I mean, it's a shame we didn't, but here we are. The following year, I think, is the year that we made some changes that maybe made us not as fun to watch, but made us more solid. And that was the one where it went down to the last day. Son, the game in hand, we're talking the game in hands, Man City didn't drop points, and Son could have made it a 1-1, which on the last day we would have won the league. We did not, because of that goal at Tottenham. So, but we felt like we were very good. I think when we would kind of zoom in and actually think about that year, I think a lot of people forget the first half of the year was very shaky. It's just from January to the end, we were just unbelievable. Purple patch. Lost one game between January 3rd, I believe, and the end of the season. So we got ourselves back into a title race. So at the end of the season, I think we look at it and go, wow, we should have won that. But really, it was because of what we did in that second half, which ironically is what City do. And what's so scary about this season is City tend to be okay till Christmas, and then they become unstoppable between January and the end of the season. And they tend, sometimes you look at their fixtures, and at the end of the season, they're like, oh, won 15, drawn 1, lost none. And you think, of course they won the league. So, but either way, I think at that end of that year, I think we all kind of agreed that was just such a hard way to kind of, it was hard to take, and everyone, because it was the second year, everyone said we were bottlers. I think we all kind of felt, not that we were bottlers, I think we were just outdone by a slightly better team. So we didn't feel it. Everyone else was saying it. Whatever we do, everyone's going to say the word bottlers. But year one, we didn't expect it. Year two, I thought we had a good, honest try, and I thought we were very good, and I think we were good enough. Just a couple of things didn't fall our way. That's football. That's sport. The third year is probably our biggest. I don't think it was a title race. I really don't believe we were in any title race last year. We just happened to come second. With the decisions that happened against us last year, that were just so, momentum stopping, constantly happening, just so hard to deal with. And we had the most amount of injuries anyone in the Premier League. Couldn't really deal with it. I mean, even to this point now, that was from January last year. Havertz has started 2 games. We are a year and a month on from there. He's out again. Saka missed the whole second half of the season. So did Gabriel. So did Martinelli. Odegaard missed the first half. We were just missing so many key players for so long. I don't think we could do much with last year, and I think we all knew that people were going to call us bottlers, which they did, but we all knew it was injuries. Here comes it's like the Goldilocks and the Three Bears, but there's a fourth one. This one is just right for us to go and do it. Take away the fact that at the start of the season, you can listen to the podcast. I think the general consensus from Arsenal fans was we need to try and compete. I don't know if we can. Man City spent $500 million. Liverpool spent $500 million. We spent 300+ million. But we did kind of look at it and go, well, if this team just won the league and they spent $500 million, they've bought the best forward in the world, potentially, other than Haaland. This team that are already a robotic team who have 115 charges have even more strengthened in the way of 500 million. You think, well, there's no chance for us, and you think you think Newcastle eventually going to have a good season. You think Tottenham can't have a second bad season. Man United can't be as bad as they were last year, which they aren't. You just looked around and you thought Villa were going to be in there and about. Forest looked like they were going to be good. They weren't. But at the start of the season, when you look at all that, you thought, and Chelsea, another one, spent over $1 billion. And you thought, there's no way we can be in a title race, but could we get top four, maybe a cup? Maybe we could have that European Cup. And I think that's how we all felt. The way it's gone, because after 5 games, I think we were very much in the camp of, can we try and scrape top 4? All of a sudden, teams start to fall apart. And I honestly believe it, we're the best of a bad bunch at the minute. And I think scarily City are doing that thing that they do around now where they start to find their form. They stay in and around the pack. When you think of 400-meter runners and they're sitting around 3rd or 4th till about 150 meters left, and all of a sudden they just turn on the afterbusters and they sprint it away. I think this year, but we had it all right. You could detail the decisions. You could details. We have had the second most injuries after Leeds this season. You can do all that, but we were still there, and I think that eradicates all those kind of, some would say excuses, reasons. I would like to say, but either way, I think we're hitting this point, and last night's game encapsulated it. It's the 4th year where everyone's going to call us bottlers, and I think we have to go, yeah. That what we did last night, I don't like the word bottle, but for the purpose of this, it's a bottle. And I didn't, and what is, sometimes it can be just, you lose a couple games, and you can't really explain why, and you think, well, that's not bottling. I think we just lost games, and I can't figure out why we lost them. I can see exactly why we're losing these games, or draw. So we're not even losing. This is the worst part. We're not losing. We're drawing, but we just know how good City can be in this moment. So you instantly have that daunting feeling. I spoke about it on the podcast yesterday that I really felt like we weren't going to win the league until about 4 weeks ago. And I started to go, ooh, maybe we could, So I think maybe everyone started to feel that way. Like, maybe we actually are going to have like a nice year where the league is kind of wrapped up with 3-4 games to go. It's not going to be one of these tight to the last seconds, stress-inducing. And I think we kind of accepted maybe, ooh, okay, this could be fun. So I think this hurts extra more because we started to feel that way. And then it's gone the other way, and and it's not curtains, it's not complete doom and gloom. I just didn't like the attitude, and that is why we're going to talk about it today. And I think the reason it hurts the most is because everything people have ever said about us, it's kind of true right now. I think before we could explain away reasons, this one there's no explaining it, because I think the actions of the team last night were of people that were going to bottle a league, and it's been coming. I think if you've been watching Arsenal this year, I've said it on this podcast numerous times, I don't think we're that good. I don't think we're as good as 2 years ago. I don't think we're good as 4 years ago. I don't think we may be as good as last year, but we're not having quite as many injuries. But I think actually when you look at it, we have the same amount of injuries. It's just they're not overlapping. Last year we had Saka, Gabriel, Martinelli, Havertz, all out at once, if you know what I mean. And then we were playing games that had Zinchenko, Tierney, and Nwaneri up front, and we're not having that this year. Moreno is playing up front. Right now, it's a little bit of a struggle because as far as having a million number 10s, and we have to play Saka out of position, shows a lot. But it also shows another interior issue, which is Moreno injured, out for the season. Havertz came in. His cameos this year have been unbelievable, and I think he does feel like maybe the adaptation that we need to make to that number 10 role is him. It's just unfortunately he's got re-injured. He could be available by the weekend, but he's never going to be starting. But you've got those two out. Then Odegaard is our captain and our main playmaker the last 3-4 years. He's out. Whenever we loaned out, which is our own issue and the interior issues we have. And then you got Eze. And we know the manager overly isn't interested in Eze, but I'm a huge Eze fan. I just think there is a lack of effort sometimes. And I've heard from numerous people that that effort shows on the training field too, that I can see why he's not always jumping to play him. Also, he'd played 45 minutes 6 days earlier, 2 days early, he'd played 3 days early, he played 90 minutes. So I get why. And he thought, do you know what, Madueke's in form. Could we move Saka interiorly? I think people have been asking for that for years, that we want to see Saka in that role. So I don't begrudge him for doing that. But the fact that we have multiple number 10s and we end up playing our best player out of position is an issue that we've had under Arteta for the last few years. And I'm, again, a big Arteta fan. I do not want him to leave. I think that sparks a whole chain of events that people will not enjoy. He's got the fans back on board. He's got the club back on board. He's got us in title races. He's got us in Champions League races. It's things that we didn't think were possible. I mean, 5 years ago, I really genuinely believed I would never in my lifetime see us in a title race. I've seen this is our fourth one, technically, since I've said that. So those things can't be forgotten. But I remember last year, we had right backs on the bench and we were playing central midfielders at right back because we wanted that player in the team. And this is a manager who did say once, if you can move one part, if you need to move the team around because of injuries and stuff, if you can move one moving part instead of moving 5 to adjust, always do the simple one move. Like Odegaard's out, play Eze. Don't bring Saka in, Madueke down there. That means we don't like the combination of Madueke and Timber, so here comes Ben White. And then because Ben White's on, we need someone who inverts on the left side, so here comes Lewis Skelly. There's like a knock-on effect. I'm not saying those things exactly happen, but that is the options. As Odegaard's not available, play Eze. Or 5 changes and people out of position and new players coming in, new combinations. And since he said that, I think we've had a real issue of doing that consistently, where we move 5 players just to accommodate keeping one player in the team, as opposed to, that player can't play. Cool. There's the replacement. Keep the rest of the team together. Carry on. And I think not so much last night that was the issue. I think Saka played well in that role last weekend, and I thought he played well in that role last night. When Eze came on, I don't think he was particularly much better in that position. I think it was a team issue generally. And I truly believe that the failings we're having is totally down to fear. The way in which we're playing is totally down to fear. I was watching with my dad last night. Even after we scored, there was a period of play where we went, we're in second gear. They are accepting they're in second gear. There is no attempt to get out of that gear. And they either think, this is easy, we can win this in second gear, or they are scared to go into that next gear in case they concede. And I have had this issue with Arsenal a lot. There's a lot of, I'll run up 10 yards. I'll look, there's 2 passes that are tough that are over the top or maybe through the lines. There's one to my right that's like, 50% chance completion. Then there's 100% pass completion to my left. They run forward for 10 yards and then they go, I'll go to my left. Guaranteed that pass completion. He then runs up 10 yards. He does the exact same scenario and he goes, yeah, I'll go for the 100% pass completion. They keep doing it. And we get into these, and people like Eze are not those people. He 100% of the time will try and do the hardest pass, the pass that will open up the other team. With that comes counter-attacks, loss of possession, periods of time in the game where you need to win the ball back because now you're giving the ball away, fans booing, all these kind of things. But it's cowardly, it's cowardice football. When you don't do it, no one's wanting to take kind of the initiative and actually go, I'll be the guy, puts it on my back and goes. Usually it's Saka, and when he's out wide, when you saw him move out wide for that brief period before he went off hurt, you could see almost like the game change again for 5-10 minutes before he went back off. And he just is more comfortable on that side. That's his position. And a perfect example of maybe we could have just played Saka, if we had taken it more seriously and Saka stayed on the right as it came in, maybe we'd be 3-4-0 up at half time, and then you can go into second gear. But we started in second gear. We scored that goal. We never truly created anything else, but Wolves never really got the ball. And it reminded me, and we were saying this when we were watching it, of the Man United game. Up until 40 minutes, I've never seen such a one-sided domination of a game. We were 1-0 up against Man United, and they didn't even get in our half. Then all of a sudden, we started to do the real simple things badly. You know, we couldn't control the ball. We couldn't make a 5-yard pass. We couldn't play the ball forward. And all of a sudden, we were passing the ball to Man United. They get a chance. We pass the ball again, mistake. They get a chance. Pass the ball straight to them. They score the goal, 1-1. You go into half time. This was similar. It's almost like it's self-sabotage, and it has to come from fear, because this is multiple times it's happened this season. And you saw it, at half time, we kind of went, we'll take it. But if we stay in this gear, there's going to be a sting in this tail, because if we don't get out of second gear at some point and have a flurry, even if it's a 20-minute in fifth gear, just to see out the game. That's what you need to do. You can't win a game in second gear in the Premier League. I know from 100% Wolves are going to find their fifth gear at some point. Chances are the last 10, when they know they're still in the game and they can go for it. If we don't see the game off, that's exactly what's going to happen. And what happens is we scored a goal with Hincapié. It felt like, honestly, only the second time in the game after the Rice assist to Saka that we played a through ball, a legitimate defence opening attempt through ball. And it was our centre-back to our left-back. And that's what's mad. And it's something that, this one worked out perfectly. Hincapié finishes it unbelievably. There was an error with the flag that caused there to be a big delay. He was clearly onside. It's very strange. Either way, it went to 2-0. And I really felt at that point, we never got out of second gear still, but I thought we've got away with it. That's how I felt. But the thing I was going to say was this kind of cowardice football. What tends to happen is you start thinking, well, they must have it in their head. Unless there's the perfect ball, we're going to retain possession so the other team can't get it. Because we've talked before, a boxer jabs, waits for that opening. If that opening doesn't come, he'll wait 7 rounds for that opening. But he's not going to allow you one of your big strikes. That's how we play. We just keep the ball. If there's nothing on, we keep the ball. You can't hurt us, so therefore we can't lose the game. The players have even said it recently. If you're not going to win, don't lose. Yeah, that mentality is exactly what's going to get you to come second. And we jab, but you can't just jab until the 12th round and go, oh, nothing happened, And that was their plan last night. And with that, they knew they were up on the scorecards, and they thought, yeah, we're not going to finish this guy off. And what frustrates me is you think there is an intelligent, maybe trained-in aspect to all this of that exact thing. Wait until the right player has the right pass, and then do it. But what happens is we have the ball for 3-4 minutes at a time. If you watch any game, left to right, inside, come back out, inside, loads of movement. Too much horseshoe football for my liking at the minute. But in and out. They're kneading the bread. They're looking for the pass, and then we kind of shift, and all of a sudden one of our centre backs gets the ball, and he just does like a 60-yard pass out of bounds, and you go, oh, so there wasn't a plan, because if everyone was on the same board, he would know. I'll just keep playing it until Saka. I'm going to name any player, but not last night. But Saka, Eze, Madueke, Trossard, Jesus, Gyökeres. One of these players, or Zubimendi, wait until one of them get an opportunity to make the pass. Don't maybe leave it to your right back, centre backs, left backs, your holding midfielder, maybe, or Gyökeres. You're not expecting them guys to do that final pass. So they keep the ball for 4 or 5 minutes, and this happens on repeat throughout games, especially games like last night. And it was happening repeatedly. And even at 2-0, I was going, what? I don't know what their issue is, because they'll go left, right, and you think, all right, okay, here we go, looking for the pass. Yeah, there's nothing on. Keep trying. Oh, Saliba's hit it out of bounds. Oh, brilliant. They get the ball back. Then Wolves have the ball for a period of time. Then we get it back. We keep it for 3 or 4 minutes. Pass it to Timber. He just kicks it out of bounds up the wing under no pressure. And you go, brilliant. They're not doing the good things right. They're not doing the things they do correctly. They're not doing correctly anymore. They're panicking. And the thing, this is a 2-0. There was no pressure. And we started to invite some pressure. And a big issue of us this season, I think, has kind of cost us a lot. Think of the Wolves game at home that we ended up winning, but luckily. I think of the Cunha shot that we lost against Man United. I think of the Sunderland game with that late goal. If someone gets the ball on the edge of the box and kind of comes inside slightly, where you could shoot or cross the ball where, it can flash across the goal and no one touches it, it still goes in. That kind of scenario. We love to just let people shoot. When I'm watching it, I literally sit there and go, oh, get out, get to him. And every single time they don't. They all put their hands behind their back. They stay 10 yards off and they allow that ball to come in. And time after time, it drops us points. I think genuinely we're probably 7 points off where we should be if we just ran out and blocked shots and or crosses from in those dangerous interior areas. And what happens, they shepherd the ball, go side to side, they go side to side. We're still being passive. We're in second gear, no interest in kind of killing the game off. And then they score, from outside the box. I think that someone said that we've conceded 9 goals from 0.4 XG this year. Like over 9 shots, there's 0.4. So basically half a goal should have gone in out of 9 shots and we've conceded 9 goals. That is unbelievably bad statistics. And that either showed the lack of shutting down, which it was. No one really got out. The ball, when it hits the net, is mid-height to lower, which means that Ray has been lobbed. It's not it's not one of these Iron Robins or when Aries or Saka's where they cut in and it goes top corner. The goalie has no chance. It's kind of slow and it ends midway. It's almost like a lob, and I don't get why. If it's a positional thing, I don't know what it is. But he's on his 6-yard box and he gets lobbed. It's so confusing and it's happened far too many times. And this guy's a back-to-back Golden Gloves winner. I don't question him being good enough for Arsenal at all. But that has happened one too many times, and I think he also doesn't expect them to get not even attempted to block shots away as much as the other teams do. But they get it and they get back into the game. And at that point, we bring on Jesus. And at 2-0, you can bring on Jesus because he's a fun player. He creates chances. He holds the ball up and he does some bits and he'll go get the ball. If you bring him on at 2-1, there is no one. And oddly, the big conversation around Arsenal at the minute is we don't have anyone that knows how to win or get it over the line. He's one of them that does. But no one comes on with more of a scared face. And the way in which he plays, he is standing between Rice and Zubimendi. And the other team go, oh, brilliant, we don't have to mark him. Whereas Gyökeres is, upfield. And I've talked about this loads, and people don't like Gyökeres, and they want Jesus in the team, all these kind of things. At 2-1, the worst player you could ever bring on up front. And the idea of changing the up front at 2-1 is odd. Like, surely you'd think about the midfield, maybe we need to get more control. Maybe you'd think bringing on some wingers that aren't ones that are going to hit the byline, like Martinelli was on there for far too long last night, I thought. He stayed on. And again, with the injury, it was tough. The timing of the injury was tough because Saka had to go off for Eze, I believe. And then Madueke had just gone off. So therefore, if he hadn't, he could have stayed out wide and then it wouldn't have had to had Martinelli on the right and that kind of stuff. But that stuff's unfortunate. But we bring Jesus on and we get deeper and deeper and it becomes this almost like basketball game that we're not attempting to score in. And there's a moment where Martinelli kind of gets put in and he runs away from the defender and he's running in and you think he's in it. Like he's even going to get a shot away. He's going to whip it across the goal because we have 2 men on the other side. He ends up kind of hitting the ball upwards, which means he has to wait for a period of time for it to come down, allows the defender to get back in, he wins a corner. And you look at that and you think, just killer instinct, kill the game. That I think is what caused it, maybe not caused it, but there's Rice and Eze start arguing and then he plays it Eze. I'm fairly sure, and this is cynical, I'm fairly sure that's put on to waste more time because that corner took 90 seconds. And I think the only reason they didn't get massively hurried up was because they were arguing. And the ref wasn't, if Rice was just standing there, he's going to keep waving him to start. Whereas because they're in an argument, the ref kind of allowed it. And I feel so certain, dark arts wise, that they did that because Rice was shaking his head like, I don't understand what you're saying. As if he's going to put the ball in. And he just plays it short to him like it's a work corner. It goes absolutely nowhere. And I was just thinking, we have to kill this game off because there is a sting in the tail in the Premier League. We've learned it with Wolves already this season. We've learned it with multiple teams this season. And we get deeper and deeper. We can't retain the ball. Martinelli, I think his ball retention was so poor last night. I think everyone's was. Timber is someone who I like to imagine. He has 3 players around. He always comes out with the ball. He was losing the ball. When we did get the ball back to kind of just see out a bit of time and do those 100% pass completions that we were doing in the first half when you were happily winning 2-0, aren't there anymore. And they're just putting it long and they're trying to do one final pass. And the worst part is you can see Arteta and Heinze. It doesn't help they're screaming and that's not exactly going to set calm into the team, but you can see them saying, calm down, short passes. And what's frustrating is the time in which we're supposed to do this 100% pass completion guaranteed, keep the ball retention, is in this last 10, 15 minutes. We did it for the first 50 minutes of this game when we should have been going after them. Once we were into that last 15, we're now playing singular balls forward for the forwards that they would have loved in the first half. But they're not just doing it they're doing it badly. They're kicking it out of bounds. They're going long. They're going all the way to the keeper, giving the ball back straight away. And you're thinking, God, all you've got to do is, kill 30 seconds, 40 seconds with the ball. We have the talent. And we don't need to, go win corners and take an hour to take it. It's nonsense, I think, that. Eventually, there's that moment with Trossard, and I don't know how I feel about it. He ends up going off with a head injury. Two sides of it. Should the guy get sent off? No. Should it be a second booking because he just walks Trossard down off the ball and causes him a head injury enough to go off? Yeah, it's a second booking. That should be the red. The ref obviously doesn't see it. The VAR can't change it to a booking. It's clearly not a red. We wind up the Wolves fans because Trossard goes back down, but I think that is due to they had to make a change. So they needed to get Calafiori ready, and they didn't want to be down to 10 men, which rightly so. They shouldn't be down to 10 men for a guy walking down a guy and essentially concussing him. So there's a lot of people saying we wound up the fans, that's how they scored. No, that doesn't happen at that level. Pressure does, and fans don't help the matter for teams defending, but I think he had a head injury. He needed to get sorted. There is another part of me that thinks that they saw that and went, what's a good way of getting another tall defender on without having to waste another sub in case I need it? Oh, okay, he's just had a head injury. Whether he's hurt or not, should we just do that change? And there is a part of me that thinks they did that. Another bit of, not dark arts, but gamesmanship. And the bit that frustrated me most was next, because they have a throw-in shortly after that. And it was long time, it was 92 minutes at this point, I believe. He was down for the first 2 minutes of injury time. I think they take a throw. I think Calafiori heads it almost through on goal for Jesus. He runs, he bumbles that. This is a guy who I think of as probably the best close control in the team. He's one of the better finishers. He's bumbling that ball around. He has an opportunity to flash it across goal where Martinelli is for a tap in. I think it's a tough pass, but either way, if you hit it hard enough, Martinelli ends up in the far corner under less pressure. He can then regurgitate the attack and go back and work it around in a big circle, see the game out. Either way, you got to do that, or you got to win a corner. Something just to keep the ball up this end, or you got to get it under control and then head to the throw-in corner area and then look for your left back and just kind of, circle back around and start again. Instead, he kind of bumbles, doesn't get a shot away, doesn't flash it, doesn't turn away from goal, doesn't win a corner. He just lets the guy tackle him and run back up the field. And the ball gets kind of bounced around in the midfield and it comes back to the right back for Wolves. And Jesus is just walking towards him, no closing down, just walking. They go long, and that is essentially where the goal happens. There's 26 seconds between him being through on goal to them drawing the game 2-2. That is such an issue we had last year. We talked about it last year. Could we have gone to a Champions League final and beaten Inter Milan if only we had more cutthroat team players? You think of Odegaard, Martinelli and Trossard making Donnarumma make unbelievable saves last year. If we had a better player, would they have scored it? We go a year later, we spent 300 plus million. We've got unbelievable depth. Who are the people in these games that are Brentford, who misses the last minute goal? Martinelli. Jesus. These are all people that have been here 5-6 years. Where are Eze? Where is Gyökeres in these moments that you need to win the game? The players you brought in to stop what happened the last couple of years happening. And instead we've got the same old, missing chances or doing the wrong thing in big key moments that could cost us big championships. And that one is a worry. And either way, they go up the other end. And I think with the goal, I think they're both at fault. I think they cross it. As soon as he came in field, I did the exact same thing. I went, close him down. And they didn't bother. They just let him put it in. Like they did at Sunderland, like they did at home to Wolves to cost us. They put it in. Two parts. I think it's it's a poor cross. The goalie should scream, come out and collect that. He catches that ball in his midsection. He drops to his knees. 30, 40 seconds goes by where he's pumped up the end. Jesus scrapped with someone in the corner, wins a throw. That's what you do. It's quite simple. But the other line of thought is that Raya can see Gabriel is going to head that ball well away. Under no pressure. He can just get that away. Gabriel doesn't know he's there if he's not calling. So Gabriel has to do the header. Raya is the one that can see the whole pitch ahead of him and go, oh, he's under no pressure. I don't need to go and jump into the back of him and cause him to header it downwards and me punching it downwards and then wipe us both out. So I think it's the goalie's ball, but it's completely on the goalie to let that defender know that and or let him just deal with it because he can see the whole field. Either way, he hits it down. They hit a really nice like half volley on that strike, goes through the goalie and Gabriel, hits Calafiori, hits the post, hits Calafiori and goes in. I mean, on any other day, that hits Calafiori and just goes out for a corner and we just reset and just hope we can get through it. But it's that panic. It's that scared, nervous energy, doing things, doing the bad things badly and the good things badly. You know, that why are we coming out and trying to clear that ball and causing a goal like that? That is completely down to us. It was a poor ball. Wolves all players were just on the edge of the box looking at it, what a rubbish ball. And we just in amongst ourselves. And this is why people say it's not going to be City that beat us this year. It wasn't Liverpool that beat us last year. It wasn't City the year before. It was Arsenal. We beat ourselves every single time. The percentage of goals we concede from personal errors is higher than anyone in the league. And it's getting more frequent since we turned the year and you're actually in a title race. And it's starting to get into real serious big boy times. And it goes to 2-2. And here is the other bit, the cowardice that I talk about. Once that happens, there's 3 minutes left. We create 2 chances. Previous to that moment, actual chances in the game, we create 2. And there were 2 goals. In 94 minutes, we created 2 chances. In the 90 seconds we had the ball post that goal, we created 2 chances. Which shows you that any given time they could have gone into 5th or 4th gear. Even 3rd gear would have won it. But they chose to stay in that 2nd gear. And that is not the manager. That is the players. Because he's time and time again come out and said, I'm not telling them to do this. I'm telling them to beat teams with passes, beat teams with goals, finish teams off. And the players are sitting and going, oh, I don't like the energy here. And to see that away from home, where there's no real there was no nervous energy. It was just 2-0 up, happy as Larry, 80 minutes. What's there to be nervous about? Unless they're literally in their heads thinking, oh, I guess this takes us 7 points, doing what we're doing. But they shouldn't be. They're professional athletes. And it wasn't like a moment where you could think that. And the problem with that performance, I think, is just a stark reminder for the fans is we're in a title race, we were ahead. This was always going to happen. If it wasn't a Wolves game, it's going to happen somewhere else. We got Spurs and then Chelsea. I can see them both being draw. I can see us getting 2 points from those, which would be the last 4 games. We'd have 4 points from a possible 12. This was always going to eventually happen. You just were just secretly hoping, like last night when it was 2-1. I was thinking when that Trossard situation happened, I thought, God, there's 4 minutes they've got to negotiate here. Just get out of this. I'm not happy with the performance. I think it's really bad, but you just got to somehow get through it. Because I truly believe if we win the league this year, next year you won't see performances like that. Because they'll know that they can win leagues. It's totally down to fear and not knowing that they're playing that. There's no other reason that every now and then when there's a slight amount of pressure, like a game in hand or we play after City, they can't control the ball. They can't retain possession. They're not attacking the good areas. It's too coincidental. It's a mentality issue. And what hurts the most is people have been saying that for 4 years. We fended them off with reasons. I'm out of reasons. Yeah, loads of injuries. Still more injuries than everyone else. But, the only thing I will say is the concept of everyone saying, you've got that depth. It's like, yeah, but everyone had the opportunity to buy that depth. Everyone spent more than us, and they don't have that depth. So I don't think that's an issue. But having that many injuries is not helpful. But it's a mentality. The feeling I have is that if every single person was fit for this game, I think we still end up doing what we just did. And that's a worry. But either way, we're 5 points clear in the league with a game in hand. We've got the North London derby. I think I said on the podcast this week, I expected from Brentford, Wolves, and then Tottenham all away in a week. I expected us to draw 2, win 1. Get 5 out of 9, and I would have been fine with that. We've drawn 2. The hardest game is yet to come. Brentford may be the hardest one, but with a derby, you just don't know. I think we can't go into this game, and this might be a huge benefit to Arsenal. This loss might be a kind of a blessing in disguise. This is me trying to be optimistic. is I think because we had a little bit of a lead, we were playing like that boxer I talked about, the jabs. We're not having to do that big punch. We're winning on the cards. And I think that in the same with the players saying, if you don't win it, don't lose it. They play like we're ahead, and they just need to keep them at arm's distance. That result puts Man City level on the cards. It puts Man City in the ability to win the fight at any point, and that might mean we won't see those passive performances because now they have to go win. You go into that Spurs game not going, yeah, a draw would do. They go into that game going, oh, a draw would pretty much end the season for us. We have to go win now. And I think if we win, I think I'd be fine with the 5 points from 9. Obviously, if you want to win the league, people would say you should win 9 points from 9. Of course, everyone needs to win every game if you're going to win the league. But people don't. And City aren't invincible. But I do think now they've smelt blood, that I think it'd be hard to stop them now. We need to just basically keep winning from now until the City game. If we can just keep them that 5 points behind, and hopefully stretch it if they can drop some points, it means we go to that Etihad, and a draw would be fine. But I think if we go in with that mentality, we're losing it like we did last night. We didn't lose it, but we went into the mentality of just don't lose, and we played from minute one like that, and that's what I'm worried. I think it's a big mentality issue. I don't know how they negotiate the last 11 games, because this has been in them all year. We've just got away with it. Because as an Arsenal fan, you watch every game. You do this, you do the Patreon, you do the Gunners Are Us, you talk about it constantly. You digest a lot of information, and you kind of realise, and I said it a while ago, we're not actually that good underneath it, and we keep getting away with it, which people put into your head like, but that's what happens when you win championships. Because I don't know, it's been forever. You sometimes do that. Sometimes you just go, I don't really know how we won that. Man United made a dynasty out of it. You watch Man United games back in the day, they're awful until about 88 minutes, and they'd be 1-0 down, they scored 2. And you go, what? They just went into fifth gear all of a sudden. They knew how to get it over the line. But you never truly thought, yeah, they're good. You just thought they were just this weird team that just knew how to win. And you start thinking, well, is that us? Or is it just luck? Is it luck that City haven't been on it? Because, I mean, even if we win out now and draw 1, lose 1 and win 9, I think we end on 86 points, which is quite a low tally for the modern era. It's not, when you look at the history of it, I think there's a lot of people that have won it with that many points. But it does feel low in that modern era of City, Liverpool's and all this kind of stuff, like where you hit 90 points and more. But we're going to have to do something special now. And I think we talked about it yesterday. There's always this chance, and we all feel this way. There's always this chance that we are 2 big, scary losses or scary, bad results away from being exposed. And all of a sudden the cracks show, the arguments start, the Arteta out starts, and that feeds the crowd. You lose the Carabao Cup, you go out the Champions League early, and all of a sudden it's, Ljungberg till the end of the season, hang on to that top 4, and it's so quick how football can change. So they need to get a grip very quickly. I think they need to go into North London derby like it's, they've got 7 days off after that. They need to go into that like it's their lives depend on it. The title hopes depend on it. And just hope Newcastle can do us a favour. Because if Newcastle draw that game and we win that, we're exactly where we were 2 days ago, but with 2 games less played. So there's everything like that, and that's how quick football can change. Is in the last 2 weeks, I feel like I've gone from, oh no, I think we're, we're getting clear. Oh no, we're not. We're really close. And it can change again. But I do worry about that City team currently. Let us know what you think. Check us out. We are Gunners Are Us on pod on TikTok. We do ripping packs for Pepcorn Sports Cards on there that we also do on Whatnot. Check out the link below for that. And we also on Instagram or Pepcorn Sports Cards. And then here on our iTunes and Spotify, 5-star review. If you've enjoyed today's episode, this is the kind of stuff you're getting over on Patreon, because I had to jump on the mic because it's too much to talk about. I was caught in this middle ground last night where I needed content. I needed to kind of talk my feelings out, and I needed to hear stuff, but I didn't want to look on Twitter because you scroll that a couple of times, you just get annoyed. You didn't want to look in your group chats because you just get annoyed. You needed like an educated thought process that you could kind of digest and maybe come up with positive reinforcement or something. And that's what I've tried to do here. So hopefully you've enjoyed it. This is, I think, the 3rd episode on the main feed in the first 4 days. So making up for all that time we've missed. But if you like this, check out our Patreon in the link below here on iTunes and Spotify, because this is the kind of content you're getting over there throughout the week, every single week throughout the year. So please check it out, and we'll see you next week. And on Patreon, I'll see you tomorrow or Saturday for a preview to the North London Derby. Bye bye.